These articles, in terms of ads, were put there so that people can come into town and get the information. Illustrator to document it in black and white, like pen and ink. Kudos to Harper's Weekly. Someone walked into my office last December and gave me an original 1865 picture of the youth. These articles, in terms of ads, were put there so that people can come into town and get the information. Nope. Yes, sir. So these are the original ballast stones that come out of the slave ships. B-A-L-L-A-S-T, ballast stones, ballast the ship. These were the original anchor systems. You know how you have the heavy anchors that drop down to where we were. So these ballast stones were placed on the bottom of the slave ship because when you're carrying human cargo, you have to have something to balance it. If you don't have these ballast stones on the bottom of those ships, you're carrying human cargo, it's going to flip over every time. And so the captains would bring the slaves in, disembark there, and make the slave men take all of these ballast stones off the ship. And they were pictures from Harper's Weekly. We saw pounds and pounds of the ballast stones. So the city of Savannah decided to take all the ballast stones there and make it the road and walkways down to the river area. So this ballast stone that you see here comes from Gambia, West Africa. It was laid here in 1768, the records show. But the ballast stone is all over the river, and you won't see it any other place except the river. 1860s, after slavery was over. So here's what you can Google, shadow painting. Very important. In 1808, it becomes illegal internationally to import slaves. Did you guys know that? It was against the law internationally. So if it was internationally illegal in 1808, how come we weren't freed in Savannah until 1864? Because Savannah decided, and the South, we're not going to acknowledge this international law. We'll find our own way of sending our own guys to watch the ships come in. And they no longer began since 1808 to bring the ships right here at the center. They brought the slaves on the East River, and there's a tunnel under here. And they brought them under this tunnel. It's sealed, and this tunnel has stairs that go up these stairs that connect over here that I'm going to show you. So, if you were a planter slave in the city and you passed away, there are no cemeteries. I don't even think that's correct. Well, my Girl Scout told me, she said, this had to do with the overlook glove pad. I said, why? She said, there's a window there. So if there's a window there, then this can't be used to overlook the bluff because we have a lot of hurricanes here, and we have you guys are of another generation, so you remember when people that are famous died. Don't you kind of remember when Prince died or Michael Jackson died? You know, someone famous. I remember Dr. King. I was 10 years old. My mom called and said Dr. King has been assassinated. I didn't even know what the word assassinated was. She said, it's not this nail, beloved. I said, what is it? She says, all these hooks. So look over there where you are. It's hooks, it's hooks, it's hooks, it's hooks. And the hooks go from the children all the way down to the other end. These hooks are connected to the whipping station. You brought your slaves down in shackles, and the shackles connect to the hooks, because when they beat you, they don't want you to move. And in 1822, it's documented. The Savannah City Council passed an ordinance to create a whipping station, and they hired 3 employees. So I'm so glad we got our markers approved, and one of the 22 markers will say whipping stills and his own ships. So he was like a franchise operator. Sent a special ship from Louisiana just to pick up children. I'm reading his bio, and he says that he thinks that the ages of 6 to 9 were the best ages to train children in any of the skill sets that he needed, regardless of whether he wanted to train a little boy or girl in cotton picking or rice stacking or whatever. If a child had to pick 20 pounds a day, they're between the ages of 6 and 9, but they're also measuring the mother's hip. Listen now, waistline. If you can go up to the women right here, when that child grows, child gets to this part right here, on that mother's waistline, they can now pick cotton. All children picked up Louisiana ships. They had 6, 8, 9 years on the manifest. And then I start reading 2 months, 3 months, newborn. Huh? We did not bring a newborn 5 to 6 months on a slave ship. So those newborns came out of that first bins where they held women. So that means that as the women are on the ship for 5 to 6, 7 months, depending on the winter, they were raped. I see captain's logs, and the captain's log says that a crew person could go and pick any one of the women at night that he could have. Get out. No, let's look at the building real quick. So right there where it says Savannah Cotton Exchange, I did not know until the first lady told me. Everything right there was right in front of City Hall, and that's where $62,500. And then they put this on top. It's coming up, you know. It's coming down. Yes, ma'am. So here's what's happening. The slave auction block is here. The captain and the auctioneer are waiting. So the process is you come here to buy your slave, and then the second step is 3 steps. You have to purchase your slave here, and then right over here, I think you can see like an American flag in front of that building there. Yeah. That's where you purchase your insurance. Oh my God. And then a block away at Ellis Square City Market is where you have real estate attorneys that did the closings on the names. So you had to have proof of insurance, proof of sale, and then you go to the attorneys, like the real estate attorney. You go there and they close and give you a last name. My office is in that building right there. We have to have an office in tourism. And they told me that there's ghosts in there, the place is haunted. So I'm never there on the weekend. I have to get in and all. I miss you on there one. He said this drain keeps backing up on the East River, which is where they brought the slaves in, and they sealed that tunnel down there. So instead of the water going through, it keeps backing back up. All around the edge, every one of these, even when the summertime, wintertime, they back up all of the water, everything around here. In the third bin, you'll see the water just sitting there now. So I said, wow. If this drain keeps backing up and it doesn't go to the river like it's supposed to, and this has been happening forever, and maybe, we may still have some traces of DNA. Out of that door and walked into Bay Lane, and Bay Lane is the advertisers that made these flyers that I showed you. They've got 7 to 10 days to advertise all over the nation that there's an auction here, and people have to come to Savannah for the sale. So that's number what? 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th one is the auctioneer waiting here for the sale, the captain. The 6th one is the insurance guy. The 7th one is the closing attorney. The 8th one, I got $1,500 to buy Sarah, but I don't have enough of a chance, but you know I'm wealthy. And so they begin to create banks for drafts. So every place you turn in this square is a bank. Everything, all these are banks. This is the financial system of slavery's beginning. That's number what? Number 7, number 8. The last one is the shipbuilders. And I thought right behind you is the First Christ Episcopal Church through those brush there. I thought, how come there's one church among all these banks? And we started researching it. And that's Andrew Lowe, the surveyor's church. And he convinces his trustees to invest in shipbuilding. So that church was responsible for building 65% of all ships that came back and forth to bring slaves. 9 people made millions, probably billions, in a 2-block radius. I have a pool to water. Get to an ocean if you live near ocean. Get to a lake, get to a swimming pool, get to a bathtub with candles, get to water, you guys. Remember, I'm gonna be in your ear, Sister Pat said get to water. If you don't take that break as you're feeling overwhelmed and get to water, you're going to burn out. And if you burn out, you're gonna hurt the people you love. Get to the water. If you see somebody you love being burned out, tell them to take a break. Get them to water, and they'll be better. So, delegates and people say, we are the ones that know that going owns around here. And we are the ones that will tell the story. As you go back home, begin to tell your own story, because I know as a master truth teller now, if you don't tell your own story, I guarantee somebody gonna make up a story about you. So tell your own story by documenting it. And when me and my granny them start telling those stories over the holidays, don't say, oh my God, here comes another story. No. I think you gotta get their phones out and do what? Press record. We lose a library.
Yes.
An encyclopedia. I would love to have heard my loved ones' voices all over again, but we didn't press record in our generation. Y'all get a chance to document the story. So.